Well, I lost all my footage for part 2. I don't know what I did with it. I must have packed it away, the chip card, I must have packed it away somewhere, and I just can't find it. And it's a shame because I had the second day of Yosemite on it, and we went way back behind where everybody else goes. But anyway, so usually when I'm taking the videos, I'm taking pictures of Joni and walking around and the dog, and so you're not going to see any of that. But I am putting together some YouTuber creative comments. So I'm going to put some of that together just so that I have some Yosemite videos. And there's a lot of destruction up in Yosemite that's happened. Yosemite always has really diverse weather and catastrophic events, and Yosemite also people lose their life in Yosemite. It's a very dangerous place if you don't stay on the paths that the forestry unit puts out there for you. A lot of people, especially nowadays, they like to get these really crazy pictures and stick them on Instagram and things like that. These are the people who are dying, and so I just urge everybody, when you go to Yosemite, respect it, because it's very deceiving and anything can happen. There's usually 12 to 15 drownings a year, or people falling to their deaths off of cliffs, things like that, so you got to be really careful. But it is very extreme. It is an extreme place. The park allows you to do rock climbing, allows you to do all these things, but just make sure you know what you're doing and be prepared for anything. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go check it out. Now, I don't know everything about Yosemite, that's obvious, but I do know just by looking at it, it is very dangerous. You can be in the park and then all of a sudden a fire start and it spreads so fast you're scrambling to get out of there. Same with during the floods. So when the rains come, it gets super flash floody, and all of a sudden water can just sweep people off the rocks. So be super careful, and I'm just going to show you some adverse conditions on these video clips.
In a series of photos, the National Park Service revealed the damage from a mono wind event at Yosemite on January 19th. The squeeze of two pressure systems produced winds over 80 miles per hour, toppling at least 15 giant sequoias in the famed Mariposa Grove. And then the past week brought several feet of snow.
When we went, this devastation was still there. Although they're cleaning it up, it was still bad.
One falling giant made a direct hit on a recently renovated bathroom and boardwalk area.
We saw snap trees, downed trees, trees that were running through houses.
The Mariposa Grove is home to more than 500 giant sequoias. This majestic symbol of California can stretch nearly 300 feet towards the sky and date back nearly 3,000 years.
Charred evergreens litter the landscape just west of the Yosemite Valley floor. The Ferguson Fire is not the first natural calamity to leave its mark on this national park. There have been fires and floods, like the big one in 1997.
I would have been underwater. It was above my head, and so that flood came.
So you could imagine that mudslides are a huge problem in Yosemite.
Areas that burn in wildfires can face such severe flood risk when it rains soon afterwards. During a wildfire, the burning plants release gas, and that gas gets into the soil, causing the roots to weaken. The gas then cools and solidifies. It forms a wax-like layer back at the surface. Intense heat from the fire can make the soil repel water, a condition that leaves behind what's called hydrophobic soil. And that hydrophobic soil or wax layer prevents rainwater from getting down below the surface, so it begins to saturate and weaken the topsoil above the waxy layer. As more rain falls, chunks of now soaked topsoil begin to break loose and they slide down the slope. Rocks, trees, and mud flow freely and can exceed 35 miles an hour. Left behind, a thick, water-resistant layer that can last for years.
Well, enough doom and gloom. This is a map of Yosemite, and there's 3 ways to get into Yosemite. You got the purple way from the north, the red from the south, and from the east, that amber line coming in this way. I think the majority of the people do come through the red area here, and you have to be there early or you could be sitting for a very long time. This right here is about 6:30 in the morning. As you can see, coming up the red line, you have a blue line going to the east. That's where you can see Yosemite Valley at Glacier Point. Beautiful. So that's a really nice half-day trip. And then going up to the yellow line, that's where all the big sites are, like Half Dome, Bridal Veil Falls, the river that goes through the middle of it. Just a lot of great scenery right there. But you don't want to get there until probably high noon, because if you go early, you'll have a lot of glare coming off of the cliffs, and your shots won't really be that good. But what you don't want to do is miss the green area. That a lot of people don't get out there. It's quite a drive, and it is a day trip, but there is so much beauty looking on the backside of Yosemite Valley. And there are lakes out there, there's rivers out there. It's just, you can spend the whole day out there easily. This picture of Half Dome is taken from Glacier Point, where you get a bird's eye view of the whole Yosemite Valley. It's beautiful. And this is a shot of looking towards the green road that's on that map. And you can see it's just really got a good view. And this is looking down inside Yosemite Valley. And that is not a drone shot. Oh, and by the way, there is no drone flying in national parks.